Iran's missiles are successfully destroying U.S. infrastructure and weapons because they are deliberately aimed at the nervous system of American power in the region: radars, communications nodes, aircraft shelters, and air defense sensors, rather than just symbolic targets, and they increasingly use coordinated salvos and terminal maneuvers that exploit known coverage gaps and saturation points in U.S. defenses. A recent report suggests that much of the new accuracy seen in Iran's missile strike stems from improved guidance electronics and access to foreign satellite navigation, which together allow Iranian systems to receive more precise location and timing data and thus tighten their aim on high-value assets. Meanwhile, two of America's chief geopolitical rivals, Russia and China, are reported to be quietly aiding Iran by providing satellite positioning services, guidance chips, and broader strategic cooperation, support that enhances Tehran's targeting cycle even as Moscow and Beijing frame their role as purely diplomatic. A report claimed to reveal the alleged secret behind the rising accuracy of Iran's strikes on American targets, suggesting that a mix of better intelligence, upgraded missiles, and degraded U.S. defenses has shifted the balance in Tehran's favor. According to this account, details of Iran's evolving military methods and targeting process were highlighted by the Tasnim agency on July 21st, portraying them as key to recent battlefield successes. It argued that a significant portion of the monitoring, interception, and conflict management network once used to track and counter Iranian moves has effectively vanished, leaving fewer eyes and reaction nodes watching Iran's periphery. The same report said that the broader network of sensors and warning systems the U.S. had installed across states surrounding Iran has eroded over the last decade, either through political changes, base closures, or targeted strikes, reducing overall coverage. Western sources cited in the piece claimed that Iran simultaneously gained access to satellite imagery, giving it near real-time intelligence on the location of American targets and enabling more precise strike planning. Because of this gathered intelligence, the report argued, Iranian planners could feed more accurate coordinates into their guidance systems, improving the likelihood that missiles would hit critical nodes rather than open desert or decoy sites. Another factor credited for the success of Iranian missile attacks was the destruction or disabling of American early warning radars, which once provided long-range detection and extra reaction time for defenders. Among the radars reportedly destroyed was the AN/FPS-132 Strategic Early Warning System in Qatar, a high-value asset that Iran's forces claimed to have knocked out during a series of retaliatory strikes. The radar in Qatar was described as having a detection range of around 5,000 kilometers, meaning its loss significantly shrank the distance at which some threats could be spotted and tracked. Analysts noted that Patriot air defense systems may have had better odds against older generations of Iranian missiles that followed more predictable ballistic trajectories and lacked advanced maneuvering capabilities. However, the report concluded that Patriot batteries are far less effective, and in some scenarios nearly defenseless, against newer maneuvering and quasi-hypersonic launches, which use high speeds and late-course evasive moves to overwhelm or confuse intercept algorithms. Amid renewed war, Iran is increasingly drawing critical intelligence from nations often described as America's rivals, shifting the balance of information in ways that could reshape regional decision-making and battlefield awareness. Chinese satellites and Russian reconnaissance assets are reportedly feeding Iran precise targeting data, giving Tehran access to high-resolution imagery and timing information that materially improves its strike planning and accuracy. Iran is using that intelligence to find gaps and timing windows that let it penetrate advanced U.S. air defenses across the region, exploiting sensor blind spots and synchronization problems to increase the likelihood of successful strikes. Details of these developments were reported by Defense Security Asia on July 19, 2026, in a report that lays out how external intelligence flows and evolving tactics are creating new challenges for allied defense planners. Terminal maneuvers and dispersed launches are being used to complicate interception, with last-mile flight changes and multiple, staggered launch points progressively eroding the layered air defense nets designed to stop them. Notably, Washington and several Gulf states have invested more than $20 billion in regional air defenses, a massive expenditure that now faces fresh tests as adversaries adapt their weapons and targeting to defeat those layered systems. In May 2026, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced sanctions against 3 Chinese satellite companies accused of supplying Iran with imagery and activity data, a move meant to cut off a critical intelligence pipeline believed to be enabling precision strikes across the region. Rubio said those firms provided detailed imagery and movement data during Operation Epic Fury, claiming the information materially improved Iranian targeting and allowed attackers to pick timing and aim with far greater confidence than before. Observers have labeled the cooperative model Eyes and Fist, where Chinese and Russian systems supply the surveillance and reconnaissance that let Iran's forces deliver the kinetic strikes, effectively merging foreign intelligence with Tehran's strike capabilities. Iran's Fatah-1 and Fatah-2 missiles reportedly employ maneuvering reentry vehicles that adjust guidance in the terminal phase to improve the probability of hitting moving or hardened targets, complicating interception by missile defense systems. Analysts say the Fatah series was engineered specifically to defeat terminal defenses like Patriot PAC-3 and THAAD, focusing on late-stage maneuvers, speed, and warhead design to reduce intercept windows and overwhelm layered systems. The IRGC claims the Fatah-1 dives toward targets at speeds above Mach 10 before performing abrupt late turns, a tactic intended to defeat predictive intercept algorithms and leave defenders with mere seconds to react. Missiles such as the Kiba-Shikan and Khorramshahr-4 are reported to use composite airframes that lower radar cross-sections, making them harder to detect and track until they are already inside engagement envelopes. Recovered debris in Israel has been analyzed and, according to multiple reports, confirms the presence of maneuvering warhead components consistent with acclaimed reentry vehicle designs rather than simple ballistic warheads. Field data from the 2025 Israel-Iran conflict indicate that penetration rates against regional defenses rose from about 8% to approximately 16%, signaling an alarming upward trend in weapon effectiveness against existing systems. Even limited penetration events carry outsized economic consequences, driving spikes in insurance, reconstruction costs, and market uncertainty that can impose heavy, immediate losses on U.S. companies with regional exposure. Sustained demand across multiple fronts is now straining Patriot and THAAD inventories, forcing allied planners to weigh replenishment timelines, platform allocation, and the risk of supply shortfalls during simultaneous contingencies.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you'll have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.